All right, let's see how sharp you really are. 10 questions. No hints, no second chances. I'll give you the statement. You decide. Fact or fiction. Think fast, trust your instincts, and keep score. Because this challenge gets harder with every question. Internal controls protect companies from fraud, cyber attacks, financial disasters, and operational collapse. But most people misunderstand how they actually work. So let's find out. Can you spot the truth? Ready? Let's test your knowledge. Question 1. Here's your first statement. Internal controls are only important for large corporations. The answer is fiction. This sounds believable, but it's completely wrong. Internal controls matter for businesses of every size. A small company without controls can suffer fraud, data loss, payment errors, or operational failures just as quickly as a massive corporation. Controls exist to protect processes, not company size. Question 2. Next statement. Segregation of duties helps reduce fraud risk. The answer is fact. This is one of the most important concepts in governance. If one person prepares, approves, and records the same transaction, the risk of fraud increases dramatically. Segregation of duties creates oversight, and oversight creates accountability. That's why strong organizations divide responsibilities across multiple people. Question 3, let's continue. Internal controls completely eliminate risk. The answer is fiction. This catches a lot of people. Internal controls reduce risk, but they never eliminate it entirely. Why? Because systems fail. Humans make mistakes, cyber criminals adapt, and people sometimes bypass procedures. The goal of governance isn't perfection. It's risk reduction and faster detection. Question 4. Pay attention to this one. Passwords are considered part of internal controls. The answer is fact. Absolutely true. Passwords are part of access controls, and access controls are one of the most critical forms of internal control in modern organizations. Without authentication, sensitive systems become vulnerable. That's why companies use passwords, multi-factor authentication, and permission-based access. In today's world, cybersecurity and governance are deeply connected. Question 5. We're halfway there. If employees are trusted, internal controls are unnecessary. The answer is fiction. This statement sounds logical, but it creates dangerous thinking. Internal controls are not about distrust, they're about protection. Even trusted employees make mistakes, and good controls protect both the organization and the employee. Trust without verification has caused countless business failures worldwide. Question 6. Let's raise the difficulty. Reconciliations are a type of internal control. The answer is fact. Reconciliations are one of the most effective detective controls. They compare records from different sources to identify mismatches, missing transactions, errors, and suspicious activity. For example, a company compares its internal accounting records against a bank statement. If the numbers don't match, that's a warning sign. Strong reconciliations help organizations catch problems early. Question 7. This one catches people off guard. Not all threats come from outside the organization. The answer is fact. One of the biggest governance risks is insider threat. Employees, contractors, or individuals with system access can intentionally or accidentally create serious damage. That's why organizations monitor access rights, system changes, and unusual activity. Sometimes the greatest risks already exist inside the system. Question 8. Stay focused. Internal controls must evolve as risks evolve. The answer is fact. Static controls eventually become weak controls. Technology changes, cyber threats evolve, business models shift, and outdated controls create vulnerabilities. That's why organizations continuously review, improve, and modernize their governance frameworks. The organizations that fail to adapt eventually fall behind. Question 9. Strong controls can still create a false sense of security. The answer is fact. This is one of the most dangerous governance traps. Organizations sometimes believe controls are effective simply because they exist, but ineffective controls, poor monitoring, or outdated procedures can create blind confidence. Good governance requires testing, validation, and continuous oversight, because weak controls often look strong until something fails. Question 10. This is the final question, and it's the one that surprises most people. The best internal controls improve business performance instead of slowing it down. The answer is fact. Most people think controls create delays, but the best controls actually improve efficiency. They reduce confusion, prevent costly mistakes, improve accuracy, and help organizations move forward with confidence. Strong governance doesn't stop success, it supports sustainable success. That's why the world's strongest organizations invest heavily in internal controls. All right, how did you do? Drop your score in the comments. Be honest. 8 or more? You're ahead of most people. Less than that? Now you understand why governance matters. Because risks don't always appear obvious, and weak controls often look safe until something goes wrong. Hit like, subscribe, and come back for the next challenge. Because knowing more, understanding risk, and understanding governance is how you stay ahead.